Hi guys, welcome back to the Chase Life with Kelly show. I am your host, Kelly Chase. So it is my birthday. I have turned 39. You are either listening to this on Monday and it is my birthday tomorrow, or you are listening to this on my actual birthday, or you're listening to this after my birthday. Regardless, I am 39, turning 39. It is the last year in my 30s. I feel like I'm 28. So, there hasn't been too much pressure of like, oh my God, I'm almost 40. But I wanted to make this a really fun episode, as well as, just give some truths, some honest truths, share some perspectives. And especially for so many of you that may be in a very similar boat, maybe you are navigating, the over the hill, quote unquote, phase of your life of either turning 30 or 40 or 50. And I just want to remind you that age really is just a number. I will say I do have more wrinkles in my forehead, and y'all know I'm not a Botox girl, or let's put it this way. I just haven't gotten any yet. I just haven't felt the need. Yes, sometimes I get insecure, because I see so many people with these perfect looking foreheads, and, and sometimes I'm like, wow, it almost makes my forehead wrinkles be even more pronounced. Or it feels like they're more pronounced because everyone else has a flat head, has a flat forehead. But besides that, but it's not like I don't feel this super big pull that I need to go and get Botox. So there's that. But besides that, yeah, I have a little bit of aches and pains here and there, but things that I'm working through. I have some physical therapy going on, and just, taking care of myself in other ways. But I think what has hit me the most about turning 40 soon next year, one other thing, it's I've never really felt this strong pressure to I need to get married and have kids. Yeah, probably so many of you on the other end of this are but Kelly, you are almost 40 and you don't have a husband. Not that we need a husband. We don't need a partner to have children in this day and age. But I do want a companion. I do want a partner. But with that being said, I've just never felt this strong urge that my clock is ticking and time is running out when it comes to kids. I feel that there are miracles that happen all the time. And if it is meant to be, then it will be that I have children. And of course, there are other options out there as far as adoption, or, maybe just fulfilling my own cup is something. I think my biggest thing, not the pressure, but the greatest desire, I guess, is the fact that I just want a life partner. I want a boyfriend, I want a husband. And so that kind of is the biggest, that's just the biggest desire. That's the biggest one. That's the biggest need that I have. But what the pressure is that my parents are getting older. And this has shifted so much for me. I would like my parents to have as much time with their grandchildren and with my future partner as possible. And I think that is the biggest thing that's putting pressure on me to, hey, Kelly, let's cut the bullshit. Stop just dating unintentionally, which I haven't been. But especially in this last year, I definitely have not been dating unintentionally at all. It's been very intentional. I have been learning a lot of lessons. I have been just learning. I've been healing a lot as well. And with that, I've been able to make some smarter decisions and have been able to be more in alignment with what I am wanting. So that's pretty cool. It's I'm finally getting there at the age of 39. It's the age of 39 that I am finally oh, okay, I can see things they can move fast. They can move very, very quickly. I mean, maybe I'll meet someone and we'll fall in love, and in 5 months from now, I'll get married, and before my 40th birthday, maybe I'll be engaged. We never know what is going to happen, especially if you let go of the bullshit that doesn't serve you anymore and you stay focused on intentionality and stay in the direction that is going to lead you to what you are wanting in life. So that's my biggest my biggest piece of advice. With that said, I wanted to share a couple of other things for going into this new season of my life, the last year in my 30s. I wish that I had done a lot of things differently in the past. I wish that I had, you know, learned about emotional intelligence. I wish that I had read personal development books. I wish that I had gone to therapy, hired a somatic coach, trauma-informed therapist, coaches, specialists, things like that, like in when I was like 20 years old, or even maybe like 18, to help me understand myself and my thoughts as I'm developing, going from like a teenager into a woman, as I'm going from high school to college, or when I'm going from college into the real world. It's as if we were just supposed to know how to transition, and nobody tells us. People tell us how we should be showing up. Okay, yeah, you graduate high school, you go to college, you get a job, you meet a man, you get married and have children, and you live the American dream. That obviously doesn't happen to many of us. Half of us don't even know what we want to do in college. Like, for myself, I did not have any clue what I wanted to be when college was happening. I didn't know what degree to go after. I got a fashion merchandising degree, never did anything with it except for my internship that I needed to like graduate, basically. But it was not a passion of mine. I just did it to get a degree and get out of college. Although I loved college and go dogs, like I would never like I probably could have been like an 8th year senior. It would have been amazing. I loved Athens, Georgia. I loved University of Georgia. I loved the people that I met. But college costs money and I had to get out. So, but there are just a lot of things that in my past that I wish that I had known. And so I am sharing this with you, not to make it sound like I'm regretting decisions that I made or experiences that I had, because every single experience and moment of my life has shaped me into the person that I am today. And I'm proud of myself. I'm very, very proud of myself. There are times that I'm stuck in the emotions of things and comparing myself to other people, having imposter syndrome at times. I think comparison definitely is the thief of joy. Comparison has definitely taken over my body many times and my thoughts, and people pleasing has definitely ruled a lot of that over the last handful of years, as I have mentioned in other episodes. But so this isn't to say, like I said, that I'm regretting anything. It's just to share these things with you so that, let's say, maybe you're 30 or maybe you're 25 listening to this. Maybe these are some things to look into. Have you started a personal development journey? Do you even know what emotional intelligence is? If not, there's a book literally called Emotional Intelligence, like 2.0. Start reading that. And there's actually a quiz to take with Emotional Intelligence 2.0, where you take a quiz at the very beginning, see where your EQ is, and then you read the book and you start implementing the practices. And at the end of your journey with the book, you then take the quiz again to see if you have improved. And hopefully you have, because you have started to understand how to have, self-management, self-awareness, social awareness, things like that, and recognizing your triggers and how to communicate better with people. It's just a really profound book. There are so many books. Personal development that's what got me started to read. And I've literally maybe only read about 5, fiction books. I always get those confused. So yeah, y'all, I'll be 39 and I still get fiction and nonfiction confused. But I believe fiction is like where the crawdads sing. And that's what I'm reading currently. I watched the movie. I forgot that I had watched the movie, but I did watch the movie. And I did like the movie, but everyone says the book is better. So I'm now reading the book. But for the most part, I have read numerous personal development, self-help, mindset, reprogramming of the subconscious mind, neuroscience types of books, self-love, healing, that kind of thing. And they have changed me. They have helped me expand. They have helped like my mindset expand. I can hold space better for people. One relationship in general, my journey, because someone on the internet shined a light on me. And because of that person, I started diving into personal development and had my personal, like my self-love journey and my spiritual awakening. And there's multiple, you can have multiple spiritual awakenings, but I didn't have a connection with God, source, universe, whatever you want to call your person, or your higher power, for a long time. I did not have that connection. Did I feel differently when I may have been outside or when I did go to church? Sure. But I didn't have that connection. And now, and it continues to grow and improve, but I do have a connection. I always say that my church, or outside, is my church. I love connecting with nature. It really does something for me, and it makes me feel whole, and just more connected, like I said. But yeah, I want y'all to understand that at any age, so you could be 65 listening to this, at any age, you can start your journey to self-betterment. Because taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is the most selfless act that you can do. And many people, that is a very controversial topic. But if you're following me and you're listening to this podcast, I think that we're on the same page. The more that I have studied my own mind, meaning my own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, the more I can hold space for people. Where I was going with that, there is one relationship in particular that I have been able to just, instead of dismissing totally, of course, that is sometimes a behavior that follows, but I've been able to better understand where this person is coming from, which I'm proud of myself for, because not every human does that. Not every human, and granted, I can't say it was because of this, that's why I started personal development, but it just fell, and it has cohesively fallen together. And although it is hard and challenging sometimes, I'm still able to take a step back, see the perspective, and come at it from more of a detached point of view versus an attached where emotions are really high. Sometimes, again, that happens and I get flustered and triggered and activated and all the things. And I don't love that when I become like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, but it happens. And I think many of us can, relate to that. But you can start at any time to go through this journey. And I've just turned 39 years old. But this personal development journey started in the end of 2017. Okay, so almost 7 years, 6.5, 7 years. I wish that this had happened 20 years ago. I wish that I was 19 learning this information. They don't teach you this stuff in school. Because I swear to you, had you started this journey earlier, or if you have the opportunity to start this journey now and you are in your younger years, your life trajectory is going to be something that you can't even imagine. And maybe even still, at the age of 60 something, maybe, just maybe, you start this whole personal development journey and subconscious reprogramming and inner child work and this healing work, and you discover your life's purpose at age 65, 80, I don't care. And your entire life just gets better and better and better because you decided to take a risk on yourself. You decided to bet on yourself that, hey, well, what if I do this and it does start to change my life? Even just 1%. Maybe something shifts inside of you that helps you just think of things differently or see someone differently, or it helps you to better communicate with people and therefore your relationships get richer. What if it shows you, again, what your purpose and your passion is, and you launch a business and you impact even 5 people's lives? Or you start a nonprofit, or you just start a Facebook group just because you're like, hey, I want to do something with my passion. I don't know what to do with it, but I enjoy talking about it. Perhaps it will help you understand your financial situation. You will look at things with more of an abundant and growth mindset versus a fixed and set mindset, which keeps us stuck. It keeps us in lack and scarcity. It keeps us in this victim mentality. That does nothing for our bank account. You only look at it and it looks like it keeps depleting and depleting and depleting. Whereas when you are doing the work, quote unquote, the work, you see things differently. And although your bank account might dwindle from time to time, you're like, that's okay, because I trust that God is providing and there's money coming in. Money is flowing ever abundantly to me. It is always flowing to me. It is like an endless river. Money is always on its way to me. And you get to decide with that thought process, because that thought process is affirming expansion. And that creates different neural pathways, and it creates different actions. You show up differently, you show up better. Opportunities start coming your way. You have to be open-minded to see them and catch them and start taking action on them if they are meant for you and aligned. But you can always take a different action. It's a choice, it's a decision. So you may have been living a life where you're making, let's say, $65,000 a year, and you've been stuck at $65,000, maybe $75,000 a year for 20 years. And all of a sudden you start doing this work and you start understanding that life is a game, and you begin understanding how to play it. And you start shifting the thoughts in your mind, the feelings that follow, and the actions. And you start creating different actions to create a more abundant life for yourself. And all of a sudden, you hit 6 figures. And you don't even know how it happened. But you can look back and say, one thing that changed for me was the personal development work that I did. Self-healing. Healing. I looked in the mirror and I looked at myself and said, what does little you need right now? That's the inner child work. It's the shadow work. And I want to stop myself really quick right now. I am looking at my laptop in my friend's beautiful new studio in Atlanta. And I've decorated it so cute here. If you're watching on YouTube, please go check out this episode on YouTube. But because you can see my body language and my facial expressions and all of that. But I'm just so proud of myself. I'm like looking at myself in the mirror. Like I am telling myself right now, like I'm so proud of you, Kelly Chase. You are doing it. You're showing up. You are giving your heart. You're giving your all. It's literally 8:00 on a Wednesday night. My workday started at 8 a.m. this morning. So I have been working for 12 hours already. But you know what? I really enjoy everything that I do. Really, I do. And I'm very mindful of taking little breaks, you know, in between my 9 to 5 and, as Kira, my friend, put it, your 5 to 9. In between there, I did take a little break today and I went and sat by the pool because I needed to just reset and recharge, get some vitamin D, right? So I just wanted to presence myself real quick. And that's so cool. Like, I want you all to be able to do that. I want you all to look at yourself in the mirror and be, I'm fucking proud of you. Tell yourself that. I want you to stop this episode, like pause it right now. Look in your rearview mirror if you're driving your car. Look in your mirror. Pull open your little like makeup mirror thing in your purse. Look in a window if you just see your reflection in a window, and just look at yourself and be like, fucking proud of you. You're here. You're doing it. You're showing up. And it doesn't matter if you've like had your great awakening or not. You are here, and everything that you have done to this point, I want you to be proud of yourself because you're doing it. You are living. And if you don't love everything about your life, it's time to start making some changes. And that's it. It's a choice. It is literally a choice. Maybe this is the episode that you needed to like motivate and inspire you to take different action. Even again, if it's just one choice. Maybe you are in a relationship that you're just like, it's just sucking the life out of me. It's not necessarily that it's toxic. It just isn't it. It's not what I'm really wanting. Maybe this episode is the force that you need to let go of that relationship. Say, hey, love you, but I can love you from afar. This isn't working for me long term. I know, I see the writing on the wall. It's not it. And I deserve better, and you deserve better. So you can let them go. you don't want to waste anybody's time and you don't want to waste yours. You have one life to live. So go fucking live it, right? Go live your life and take action towards the things that you're wanting. I just went down a rabbit hole on personal development, but I speak passionately about it because it really has changed my life. I don't think I would be sitting in this chair like recording this podcast had I not stuck to personal development, had I not even started personal development. I wouldn't have, because in 2015, I was a hot mess express. I gained 30 pounds. I was so insecure. I lacked so much confidence. I was chaotic. I was sad. I was angry. I was frustrated. I was disappointed. I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. How could I let myself get this way? I'm a health coach. How could I, who is even going to want to work with me? I was a health coach back then. It was so hard. And just seeing the reaction, the look on my friends' faces when I walked into like a party, and like, I could tell they were like, oh my God, Kelly Jace gained so much weight. She looks kind of thick. Right? It's like, I didn't know this life. I didn't know about this life. I didn't know how good it could be. I didn't know how good it could get. But it is absolutely beautiful. And I'm grateful every single day for every tear that I have shed, every frustration, because sometimes when you are going through this personal development journey and the spiritual awakening, it feels like you're on a freaking roller coaster and you are just like, stop the ride. I want to get off. Because it brings up all this stuff, your inner child wounds, past relationship wounds, traumas, big T, little t. You face them. You don't have to face them, but you will stay stuck if you don't. Because what you don't release and you suppress, it gets stuck in your body. So I invite you to start your journey wherever you are at in your journey in life. Maybe you're 12 listening to this because your mom or dad has this on in the car and you're like, interesting. And I apologize if you're a mom and dad and you listen to this podcast with your kids in your car, because they may be hearing some words that you don't want them to be hearing just yet. So I'm sorry, but they are just words. And I say it with passion, not with aggression and anger most of the time. But I just want everybody to feel what I'm feeling. For the most part, every day. There are days that I am down in the dumps and I am in a shame spiral, or I am aggravated because someone is not showing up for me the way that I want them to. That has been my dating history, is guys not showing up the way that I want them to. But why do we get mad? We get mad because we keep allowing it to happen and we're dishonoring ourselves. So the little girl inside of us is kicking and screaming, having a temper tantrum, like, mommy, stop doing this to me. All I want to do is go play outside and you keep me stuck. You're keeping me tortured with a board game or something. Hear my analogy. It was kind of a stupid one, but you get it. Your inner child is like, what are you doing? You deserve better than this. I deserve better than this. And so you have to take accountability. You got to take responsibility and accountability for yourself when you are trying to control a situation. You're trying to control the narrative because you see so much potential in other people, whether it's a friend, family member, romantic partner, coworker, whoever it is. You see that potential in that other person, but we can't marry potential. Someone just said that the other day. You can't marry potential. You cannot marry potential because they're never going to change. They might. But if they're not willing to do it before you get there, it may be difficult. So let go. And I promise that aggression or resentment that you are growing inside of you because you are putting up with behaviors that don't align with what you're actually deserving and desiring, you'll feel so much more peace when you let that go. It's a beautiful boundary to have, and people respect you more when you have boundaries. Okay, so let's go on to a different topic. Okay, so something else that I want to say about business and career. Okay, so my entrepreneurial journey, it started in 2013, 2014. That's when I got certified as a health coach. And although I am no longer health coaching, like one-on-ones, group coaching, that kind of thing, of course, I share about the food that I'm eating on social media, because it's important. Gut health and mental health, they are connected. Even just having brain clarity, mind clarity, so that you can perform throughout the day. There's so, like, food is medicine. So, and that's been my life, my entire life. Like, that is, I was raised in a very health conscious household. So I can't not share about that. Of course, I'm going to share some cookies and desserts and, pastas from time to time, and indulgent foods that probably aren't going to make me feel that great, that I'll indulge in from time to time, because I'm also human, and whatever, it is part of the human experience. But my entrepreneur journey started back then, and I just want to presence this, that I have been in and out of corporate 2 or 3 times, out of corporate twice, back in a corporate job. I guess this is my 4th or 5th actual corporate job, 4th corporate job. You're not a failure, because the job that I currently have has supported me. The job that I had before that, the corporate positions that I have supported me and my little side hustles, my projects, the things that really light me up. They have supported that. So if you are an entrepreneur, or you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, but you're afraid because you're like, I can't take that leap, like, that's too risky to not know where my income's coming from, stick with your 9 to 5, or maybe cut it down to like part-time hours or something, whatever you can do. But before you do anything, before you take a leap of faith, although I feel like if you are in a good place with your faith, then you might be able to take a leap of faith, leave, and know that something better is coming. That is a beautiful thing. But the thing is, like, most of us can't think that way. Most of us, because of the inner child wounds and all of that, we see ourselves trying to control the narrative, and we can't fully surrender. So if you were to take a leap of faith, although you really needed to and you really wanted to leave your 9 to 5, if you take that leap of faith and you're not like, you don't know how to regulate your own nervous system, you don't know how to deal with chaos and the mental health aspects that come from totally pivoting like that, then you could really do yourself a disservice if you do not have the faith to fully surrender and just trust and have this knowing, like, something's coming in. Because I've been in a place where I left my 9 to 5 once, and I was like, I don't know what's coming, but I just know I can't do that. And for the grace of God, somehow I was able to, like, move past it. But it was literally a miracle, because I was like, I just cannot do that anymore. I cannot do that anymore. And I just jumped. But it was hard though, because I was like, I don't know where my income's going to come from. I don't even know what I want to do. I have no idea what I'm going to do. Probably gonna have to, like, go bartender, wait tables or something like that, which is a beautiful thing as well. You meet a lot of people doing that, so why not? But all that to say, you're not a failure. It's only helping you to fail forward to get to where you need to be in life. But I would try, because again, there's not a lot of people that have that just knowingness that things are going to work out for them, because many people think, I have no idea. I'm afraid. I have no idea what I'm going to do at the other end of this. Stick with the 9 to 5, and then use that to support your passions and your purpose. And I promise it will take so much pressure and anxiety off of your passion and purpose projects, and you will be able to just show up easily and effortlessly in those, because you will not be stressing about when your next paycheck is coming. So just to share that with you as well. I guess this is just like a few tips that I learned, over the last 15 years of my life. Like, because if I can share these tips and it helps someone out there feel better about themselves, or feel like, hey, you know what, I'm not alone. Like, okay, Kelly's giving some good advice here right now. Like, I just hope that it can help you and just shift your perspective that I have too. Like, what you see on social media Many people probably just think I'm an influencer and they don't even know that I actually have a 9-to-5 job, although I talk about it from time to time, but I do. I have a 9-to-5. And I really like it. It has taught me so much, even about entrepreneurship, what I'm doing. If you are not sure of an actual business to start, I would suggest getting in a sales and or marketing role at a company and work for someone and do that for a while to gain the knowledge and the skill sets to help build your resiliency and your tenacity and to really just be a go-getter, honestly, to have the ambition to go after what you're wanting. And learn how to communicate effectively and build relationships and build rapport, and not in a fake way, but a really authentic way. Connect with people, like-minded people in industries that can help, you all help each other. Maybe it's a personal conversation that you have with a client one day that just shifts everything for you. Or maybe you have a personal conversation with them and it shifts something for them. Storytelling is what I do. I don't do enough of it, but I guess that's why I have a podcast, because it's my avenue to share stories and share my perspective and share insights and advice and experiences with you guys, and bring on beautiful guests to share all of that with you too, so that you can gain a different perspective from them, or strategy if they're talking about a business, right? I just want so much for you guys, my babes. I just do. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I'm just really excited that I'm going to my 39th year. And I will say this, when I have been on the dating apps and someone is like over 40 on the dating apps, I'm like, oh, that sounds scary. Although, like, literally one of my best guy friends is like in his early mid 40s. I have a handful of guy friends that are in their 40s. I have a handful of girlfriends in their 40s. Like, it's not scary. It just, like, I don't know. Maybe it was like a year or two ago. I was like, 40 sounds so old. But it wasn't like, but now, like, I'm here. I was never thinking, but like, I'm almost 40. I don't feel old. It's so weird. Our minds are just wild. But just sharing that. Anyways, but I hope you guys took something away from today. I obviously have so much that I can talk about, but just stay tuned for things. I feel like I have a lot. Oh, I was telling a friend of mine earlier that I don't exactly know where I'm going, but someone told me one time, action creates clarity. And doing things that light you up will put you in a more present state. So that is what I've been doing. I want to be more present. I don't want to be like consuming social media and getting imposter syndrome and comparing myself to every single person on there, because I do. I'm still human. Although I have the awareness around it. But with that being said, so the things that I've been doing, although I may not know exactly where I'm going with everything, I'm very multifaceted. We were talking about, like, that's the story of it being an entrepreneur. Like, you're always thinking of something else to create, produce, put out there to the world, right? And we just got to stick with it. But with all that being said, sticking with things, I say stick with things that do light you up. And if they're making you money, if they're bringing in an income, stick with them a little bit longer, as Kiara will mention in a next episode. But with that being said, I keep doing things that light me up, because that is the frequency and the vibration, the energy that I want to have to call in the other things that I am seeking. The other things, the opportunities that I didn't even know existed, that are sitting at this higher vibrational frequency. They're there. So if I can do things that are going to get me and put me in that same frequency, then I'm going to meet it faster. So it is a choice. I am deciding to do this. I'm deciding to take on some of these really neat and amazing opportunities, like the fashion show, the bikini week, the speaking at Roxanne's event in New York. Doing this podcast, it lights me up. So I'm going to continue doing it, and it presences me, and it takes me away from consuming too much on social media. And so I'm constantly more in this creative state. I'm creating more than I am consuming. So I hope that lands with someone listening, because I want to remind you that you do deserve a beautiful life, and you deserve the things that you are dreaming about, that are in this frequency that you just aren't even aware yet. Well, you might be aware of it because maybe when you dance or you do something that just makes your body feel electric inside, that's that vibration. Be in that vibration as much as possible. Have the awareness when you're not in that vibration to try and, be with your feelings, sit with your feelings. We don't want to like dismiss or avoid or bypass any emotions, of course, but we want to be able to have the awareness to sit with it, feel it, process it, heal it, move to that shift as quickly as possible up to that vibration, so that you continue to stay in that frequency of attracting all the things that you desire. And I won't say that, oh, if you're like down and sad and in the dumps for 2 weeks, that what you're desiring is never going to come to you. It will, because guess what? You may have 3 weeks prior to been in this really high state, and now it's just the universe lining up and it's bringing it into you. And that could shift everything for you, and it may get you out of your slump, right? But just be focused, just be aware of how your vibration is, how your emotions are affecting your day-to-day. A lot of this, it does go into mental health stuff too. Like the more that you, like I said, the more that you can study your mind, the more that you can understand why you do the things that you do, the more that you can love and give yourself grace and compassion for how you are. Like what you think is bad or is dark or it's like a shadow of yours or not a great behavior of yours. Like maybe it's just who you are. If it's honestly like intentionally hurting someone, sure, let's shift that, right? And there may be ways to shift some of those things that you don't love about yourself. However, maybe you're just resisting who you are. Like I have friends that are neurodivergent. I didn't even know what that word meant like a handful of years ago. But I started learning, and I'm like, that's just who they are. So they learn to cope with it, and they learn to love themselves and have grace and compassion, and they just learn tools to help them navigate their neurodivergency, right? Being neurodivergent. So the more you study yourself and your behaviors, the more gratitude you can have, the more present you can become, and then the less anxious or depressed you're going to be because you're so present in the moment and you're really grateful for how you are and who you are and the things and experiences that you've been gifted. So just think about that. Anyways, I am going into my 39th year pursuing all the things that light me up. I'm taking risks. I'm making some investment. I am traveling. I am going to Switzerland in September, and I absolutely cannot wait for that. I'm actually going for a friend's 40th birthday, and God, I haven't been out of the country in a very long time, like Europe, out of the country, out across the Atlantic, across an ocean. I have not been across an ocean in a very long time, and I'm so excited about it. But go do things for you. Like just do the inner work, do the personal development, but also focus on just creating happiness and joy in your life, because that is what this life is all about. Don't get stuck in a spiral hole of focusing on all of your inner child wounds. Okay. We don't want to do that. We want to go have fun, go create, go discover who you are, date yourself, go on so many self-love dates. Show up for yourself, because if you aren't showing up for yourself, no one else is going to show up for you. If you don't have love and respect for yourself, you're not going to be able to communicate healthy boundaries coming from love and a heart space to others either. So I hope that you have such a blessed day. Happy birthday to me. I would love to hear from you if you liked this episode. I know that it's just me rambling half the time, but that's what I do. So anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the Chase Life with Kelly show. Please, 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 I would love it if you would rate and review the show, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere kind of podcast, wherever it's streaming, wherever you're listening to this, please just write a review, rate the podcast, share it with friends, family, coworkers, whomever. I would so deeply appreciate it. I want to grow this thing. I want to maybe I want to be a talk show host one day. I have no idea. Yeah, I probably have to get a little bit better with like dialogue and whatnot, in the sense of say like reducing the amount of likes and reducing the amount of ums. But hey, I'm just doing it, and I'm trying not to be a perfectionist, because perfectionism leads to paralysis. And I'd rather get it done, put it out there, and connect with you guys versus me not do it and then us not connect. So, right. That's another tip. Take it with you. Just do it. Messy is better than perfect. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Again, if you love this episode, share it, rate it, review it, and I will talk with you next time. Yay, happy birthday to me. All right, love y'all. Guys, I almost forgot. Okay, so my Goddess Magic program, what I just talked about how I just want you guys to feel the way that I feel every single day. Just so elevated and abundant, grateful, happy, joyful, even in the times that suck. I can still find the lesson, and in that lesson I can find the gift, and therefore I can be grateful, and it just shifts my energetic vibration, it shifts my energy, it shifts my whole perspective, it shifts my entire mood, my day, my attitude. And the teachings inside the Goddess Magic program is what will help you get here. It is the basic baseline, like, mindset work around transforming the way that you think, feel, and act with success, love, and money. And I promise, I wish that stuff was taught in school, because we would all be living such different lives, beautiful lives, better lives. And you may be saying, Kelly, I live a beautiful life right now. Well, this will make it will just like 10 times enhance it. And I just want that for you guys. So with that being said, check out Goddess Magic. You can go to the show notes, go to my website, go to my Instagram. It is all linked there. Please go do yourself a favor, enroll in that course. It is literally going to change your life. It is a DIY course, and so you can do it on your own time, and you have access to the modules forever and ever. So anyways, I love y'all, and go check out Goddess Magic.